All right, so I am going to go ahead and record today's Electric Slides webinar. So if you need to have access to that recording, you can come back to it a little bit later. So we talked about the purpose of today. We talked about the expectation. You'll need to do the attendance form at the end. The link to the slide deck will be posted when you submit that form. So slides can be used for many things. So it is not just a tool for presenting information to students. There's so many different ways to utilize the tools. So some of the cool things that I want to share with you, you may have seen them if you attended the webinar tasting the other day, but I can set slides up to include things like sound, which makes it a lot more interactive. And so these are ways that I might integrate if I'm I can add sound to make lessons more interactive. I also can embed GIFs. I'm not going to go through all of these with you, but you're able to insert GIFs, and we're going to learn how to do that today. So you can there's a GIF of the rain, there's a GIF of the snow. I'm also able to add animations, just do really neat things. So I can use the tool to create lessons or convert PowerPoints that I've already got, maybe, and add some activity to them with these kinds of tools. These things that you're seeing here are kind of a hyperdoc. So you're able to insert links that can direct students to different places. So this one that's populating is a learning board for Google Earth Voyager. And so each of the images is directs students to a Google Earth Voyager tour, which is super awesome if you've never heard of them, and allows students to travel around the globe and learn through a lesson. So you can use it as a way to drive students. You also can use it for places for students to practice with concepts. So I'm going to click into the heart. Actually, I'm going to go over here to the heart. And so students can actually do things within it. So you can actually set up lessons where students are moving things around. So this particular lesson, the students are going to be moving the labels around to identify the places of the heart. So this is just a GIF or a GIF, however you want to call it. And then I'm able to create interactives for students to interact with. So really, really cool features. So I can use these things for students to practice with skills. I can also use Google Slides for things like digital notebooking, graphic organizers for students to respond to text, choice boards, and then writing, which is probably one of my favorites. So you can set up templates for students to do their writing on, push it out to Google Slides. And the reason that I really love this, I'm going to share with you why I love to use these templates. So I create this template in Slides, I push it to kids in Google Classroom with everyone getting their own copy. And then when they're done, they publish the digital book to Seesaw, and it is just gorgeous. It comes in like a rollable ebook, and it's just fantastic. So that is some of the reasons why I love Google Slides. So again, you'll get a copy of the slide deck at the end. You can go ahead and click through these different things and get some ideas. To kind of get you rolling. But again, we're here today to learn about how to use the features of the tool so you can go back and get creative with it. So when I talk about Google Slides, the best way that it makes sense to me is it's kind of an interactive bulletin board. So Google Docs is more like word processing. I've got a lot of boundaries. I can't put things in certain places. And so Slides, there's really no boundaries. I can work in layers, very few limits, and there's just a lot of neat things that I can't do in other Google products. So again, this is why it's my favorite tool. So we're going to kind of work through the different capabilities in Slides, and I'll pause in certain spots if you have any questions. So when I first get rolling on a slide, I have two options when I get started. So I can choose a theme, which is kind of like a template already set up, or I can choose a background and start from scratch. So either of those is an option to me. So Slides Mania, Slides Go, Slides Carnival, they all are sites that provide templates for you to use that are already set up. So I can go to in Google Slides and pick their themes, but I can also go to a site like this and find one of these that I like, open it, and use it in my Google slide deck. So it would actually push it it would force me to make a copy of the slide deck, and then I can add my content on top of it. So if you're not, super with it on creating creating backgrounds and stuff, you can do that. But I'm going to show you how easy it is to use backgrounds. I also wanted to share with you a Wakelet, and this is Jolie Boucher. I'm not sure if I say her name correctly, but she's got a Wakelet here of some templates that are just fantastic that you can use as well. Down here towards the bottom, she's got zine templates. So these are all things that you could push to students for students to demonstrate their learning. So that one is linked on that page. So you can visit any of these sites to get templates for themes or check out her template collection. But again, you want to choose your theme or your background. So we're going to hop to our next page and talk a little bit about your background. So you notice on my slide right now, I'm over here on the left, I'm hovering on slide 8. It's surrounded by yellow. So I'm telling Google knows that that is what I want to work on. So when I click away from that, I don't have the background option up here. So that's why I pointed it out. So if I'm going to change a background on a slide, I need to actually be on that slide over here on the left. So you notice the little arrow pointing up. To insert background, I go here. I can go really simple. I can just pick a color. I can go gradient. Gradient is kind of like different, I don't know how to explain it, like flows of color. And then I also can come here to images. So I'm able to do access images in a couple different ways. So I can upload, I can grab something from my camera. I can add something by URL, access something from photos, grab something from my drive, or go to Google image search. And so I can go and type anything and use any of these images are free for me to use and drop into my slide deck as the background. So really neat. Once I have selected my image or my color, I can choose to add it to the theme. And if I do that, it will make all my slides have that background. So that's an option for you as well. Sometimes I want different backgrounds. Like in today's slide deck, you notice a couple of my slides were black, a couple are white. So I, set that up a little differently on my end. So it's really easy. You don't want to put, you don't want something super busy in the background because again, this is kind of like the butcher paper of your virtual bulletin board. So this is just the background. You don't want anything super crazy, just something kind of in the back. So I added a little GIF here that you can refer back to when you're, ready to go work on slides to show you the process of how to change that background. Before I go on, I've been talking for a few minutes. I'm going to pause here and check in with Cindy. Any questions so far, Cindy?
No, not really. Are you going to be sharing this presentation with them at the end?
Yes. Again, when you fill out the Google form for attendance, the presentation is linked on the form response page. So when you'll fill out the form, your name, your school, was this helpful? And then when you click submit, it will take you to this screen and the link is right here for you. So you can grab a copy of that.
Perfect.
Cool. Anything else?
I think that, and we also have, are the themes also free from the different sites?
Yes, they are free. Good question. That's a really good question. There are some paid ones out there, but really most of the content on those 3 sites is free for you, and everything on Jolie's Wakelet is free as well. So that's one of the cool things about Google Slides too. And if you subscribe to, some of the amazing educators that I follow, Casey Bell, Matt Miller, they share things regularly, slide templates as well. Matt Miller is fantastic for it. He's the ditch the homework guy. And he shares templates really regularly and has really been an inspiration to me as well as Casey Bell. So those are definitely some people that you want to give a follow to if you're on Twitter, social media. All right, so we're going to get rocking and rolling. So let's talk about page setup. So you may not be aware, I'm going to actually hop into a practice slide to show you this, that when you're working in slides, you don't have to just use the standard format. So if I come to File and Page Setup, I have the ability to change the size of my slide. So it defaults to widescreen. I can go standard. That's more of like a square. I can go a little bit bigger widescreen, and then I can go to custom. And when I come to custom, I can actually make it the size of a paper. And there's a really good reason why I love to use this feature. So that gives me, you'll notice on the sides of my slide there's a lot of space. Well, guess what? You can use that space. So let's hop back over here and take a look at an example of that. So the size really depends on what you're wanting to do. But when I use that 8.5 by 11 and I have all that gray space, I have room now to drop supplemental things in there for students. So I can drop directions, I can drop videos, text boxes, images, links, anything that I need students to have access to. So like in that digital, the writing book that I showed you earlier that we published to Seesaw, all these things were on the side when the student was working on the template, but when they publish that work, none of those things show up. So this is a great place to really kind of give kids additional information. I dropped videos in here, and again, when videos pop up really small, they can use the brackets.
Hi guys, it's Mrs.
Make them bigger so they can see them. So it's just a great place, and we'll learn about how to do all these things as well. I'm also able to drop links to take them to other places. So I wanted them to publish their work to Seesaw when they're done. So I've got a link that takes them to another document that walks them through the steps of publishing their work to Seesaw. So again, use the gray space. That it's there for a reason. If students are working on a Chromebook and you're using this slide size, they should be able to see the sides. You can still use gray space on the widescreen view, but students don't always see it because of the way the slide is set up, if that makes sense. So again, you just have all that space to add supplemental resources in, and those things will not be seen when students go publish their work somewhere. So another great idea for backgrounds is to convert a PDF and insert it as the background in a slide. So maybe you have a graphic organizer that you want kids to fill out, but you don't want them, messing with the format of the text itself. So what you can do is print to PDF on your computer. You would open the PDF, do print, and instead of pushing it to a printer, you would do print to PDF and just select the page you want to print. I then go to a site called PDF Candy, and I'll show you what that looks like. And PDF Candy allows me to do a lot of cool things with a PDF and many other things. So I use this feature. What I'll do is convert that PDF to a JPEG. So I can drop that PDF there, and if I come here, you add your file here, it's going to convert it, and then you re-download it as a JPEG. So I'll show you why that might be helpful. So when I click into this now, again, I've utilized that gray space. So I went with the 8.5 by 11 setup. And what I wanted students to do here is I wanted them to order the process of making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And so in this slide, I went to background. Once I have downloaded my thing, choose image, and I went to upload, and I grabbed the PDF that I had downloaded from PDF Candy, and that locked my image into the background. So now you cannot move anything on the background. So now I'm able to actually work on top of things. So the kids can grab the labels on the edges and move it around and put things in order. So really, really neat. Again, using that gray space. I could add multiple pages to this if I wanted more interaction, but I wanted to show you those things, those features, and how to set your background using a PDF so students can work on top of it. Since I'm here on this page and I've got some objects as well, I actually am going to show you another trick that you can use. So if I had things that I wanted to move together, and it doesn't really apply in this specific situation, but if you had maybe an image and a text box that you wanted to group so it moved together, I can do that by, I have the first, this first text box over here selected, because you see the blue lines around it. I'm going to press my control button and tap this other one, and then I'm going to come up here to arrange, and I'm going to group them. And so now when we move these, they move together. So I've just kind of tied those two together so they move together. So pretty awesome. So just in slides also, a really important tool to teach students about is the magic undo button, which lives up here. So if I make a mistake, I can always do the magic undo button to fix it. So that's a really, really important button to teach about. So great idea on, how to use some of those graphic organizers, some of those print resources that maybe you have are being, given to by your instructional, curriculum people. So we're now going to look at inserting text boxes. You're probably pretty familiar with how to do this, but I do want to just show you a couple of features real quick. If you are going, what I have found is if I'm going to be setting up a template that I want students to work on, I will go ahead and set up the font parameters as I create that template. So students don't land in the template and their text is really tiny. I go ahead and set it up for them. If they know how to go and change it, great. But it makes the workflow a little bit easier. So to insert text boxes, I can go to insert up here in text box, but there's a handy little button right here that I can just click and then drag my text box out. So when I do that, I'm able to do a couple different things. So I can use just my standard text box, but I also have some other tools. So I've got my paint bucket here, that's my fill. So I can actually go ahead and make my background color. The little pencil, I can choose a different colored border. Right next to it, we have our border width, so I can go as thick as I want. And then next to that is my border style. And so I can go ahead and change what that border looks like. So a couple of neat options. Everyone should be pretty familiar with choosing fonts. So you would come here to change your font, come here to change your size of your font. So, and then of course your bold and all the other features that are pretty standard, centering and all that good stuff. So hopefully you're familiar with those, as they're pretty standard in most of the Google apps for education. So again, there's a GIF there if you need help with that. The next thing I want to talk with you about is inserting shapes. So again, this is maybe a template that I wanted to share with students that I wanted them to retell a story on or something like that. So you notice that these are just shapes. And so to insert shapes, I can go to insert shape, or I can use my quick access, which is right here. So I've got lots of cool shapes. So I can just grab a shape, drag it out. And again, same tools as before. I have my fill, my border, my width, and my style. So I can go ahead and drag those around. You also can use a range up here to move objects to the front or to the back, center on the page, anything like that. So you're able to make some changes with that. So again, setting up a template for students, for them to work on, this is a really helpful tool. Images. So you can insert images directly in Drive, and there's actually a couple different ways you can insert images. So again, I can come to the insert menu, or I have the handy little tool right here. So you notice that I have the ability to upload from my computer. I can grab things from my Drive. I can grab things from Google Photos. I can insert by URL, or I can take a picture directly with my computer and insert it here. So especially kids that are working on Chromebooks that have cameras, that's a fantastic feature that they can utilize. So if I am going to go to search the web, I'm able to go ahead and search whatever I would like to insert, and I just click and click insert. So pretty self-explanatory there. What gets really exciting is I actually can insert GIFs, and that's me. So to insert a GIF into a slide deck, you're going to do that a little bit differently. So you would go insert by URL. So these come a little different. So two of the sites that I shared with you, this GIF that I made of myself was created with a site called And Then I Was Like. And it basically just opens up a camera and gives you like a 5-second window to record, and then it creates the GIF for you. I really like this site, Giphy. There's several different GIF sites out there. This just happens to be the one that I enjoy the most. And so you do need to be a little careful because, not all the content on Giphy is appropriate. So this is a tool that I would use as a teacher, and then add to my Google slide just to make it more interesting and appealing to kids. So what I did is just come up to the search bar and search for something I want. If I find a GIF that I'd like to use, I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And what I'm going to do is come right here to copy link. And that's going to open up this box for me. So the one I want to use is my GIF link. So I'm going to grab that GIF link and copy it. And then when I hop back to my slides, I'm going to go insert by URL and then click insert. So now I'm able, it drops it in for me. Again, I can still format this shape, so I can go ahead and make changes to the border style, move it around, whatever I want. So that is how you add GIFs, and it just really adds some fun to your slide deck, especially with home learning. If you were to add some GIFs of yourself into your slide deck, I think kids would think that was pretty phenomenal. So again, GIFs that you make of yourself, you're going to make with this resource right here, and it's linked on this page for you. And when you make the GIF there, you would then download the GIF to your computer. And so if I'm linking a GIF from Giphy, I would do it by URL. But if I had downloaded the GIF to my computer, then I would do it as an upload from my computer. So does that make sense, Cindy? Do we have any questions on that?
No questions on that. Made sense. Now I get it.
Super fun.
Great.
I work a lot with the first grade curriculum teams, and so as I'm doing things for science and ELAR, you probably have seen a ton of GIFs in the resources, the slide decks that are in there. That was me rocking my Google Slides. So anyway, any other questions before we go on?
You know what, Kathy? Can I ask you a question, because I don't know if other people are thinking this too, but
Okay.
Your presentation right now, so you're showing everything within that computer screen. So is that really, like, if you were to publish, is that what would show? Just what's in the screen there?
If I publish this to the web, like with the file publish to web link,
Yes.
it would run just like a slide deck. So if I did file, publish to web, and we're going to actually look at how to do this. It's going to move through in the same way that it would here. So I'm going to copy the link and we'll paste it in there to see what that looks like. So my music's going to jam up. And so, yeah, you just click through and you would see all the interactives that I had added in there. I accidentally clicked a link there. So yeah, does that help?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
Yeah, so really cool. And we're going to actually learn how to do that publishing feature more towards the end, but great question.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I'm doing this, it's sort of like PowerPoint. Is that right?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And so I may have 7 slides or any number of slides, right?
You got it.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure I was on board.
Yep. So when you're working in slides too, and the advantage really to working in slides is that I can access my Google Slides on any device, anywhere I go that I sign into Chrome. So I don't have to download it to work on it, which I really like. When you're on a slide too, if you right click, you've got some options that come up where you can copy that slide. You can duplicate the slide if you want to keep with the same theme. Insert a new slide. You have just some options there. And then of course I can click and drag my slides around to reorder them. So yeah, pretty awesome. So having a little bit more fun with GIFs and images, anything that you add into Google Slides, you've got some formatting options that you can use. So I've dropped some GIFs into here, and all I did was actually crop the image. So I'm going to come back and grab my, my GIF here. And let's take a look at this. So I've got my GIF selected, and I can actually come up here to this little button where it says mask image. This is actually your cropping tool. So I'm actually able to crop my images, and this can be a still image or a GIF. So I can actually change the shape of my image if I want to do that. So that's a really neat feature. I also can trim it down. So sometimes I'll grab a GIF or an image, and maybe there's a part of that image that I don't want students to see. So I actually can go ahead and just click on the main crop image button. And now you see the black handles, and I can go ahead and maybe get rid of the blank space on the sides And so I'm telling it right now how to trim my image up, how to crop it. And then when I click the button again, it does the work for me. So you've really got some neat options here. I'm going to put that one back to normal. And so you notice down here, I was able to crop each of these GIFs into different shapes. And again, any image, either still image or GIF, you've got the formatting options for your borders and that kind of stuff. You might notice this funny dog right here. The image looks like it's kind of hovering a little bit. And so the way I did that is I clicked on the image and went up here to format options. And that actually was created with drop shadow. When I clicked drop shadow, I adjusted my distance and my blur. And so it made it kind of look like it was hovering off the page a little bit. So just kind of something to add a little bit of, you know, just a little spin on your images that you're inserting. All right, so let's keep rolling. Another thing that is really fun in Google Slides is the ability to add animations. I'm super sorry about the dog. So I have, I copied the slide with my animals on it, but I laid a shape over it. So any object that you add into Google Slides, you're able to add animations to. And what I mean by that is real similar to what you probably have done in the past with PowerPoint, but I'm going to go ahead and select this box. It's covering my GIF, and maybe I want to add something into my lesson where it's going to be, something's going to be revealed to students when I want it to. So I'm going to go ahead and come up to Insert, and I'm going to come down to Animation, and click Animation, and it's going to open up the animation window for me. So I don't want to mess, you are able to change your slide transitions using this feature, and this is how, when you're in present mode, how your slides would move from slide to slide. So you have some really neat options that you can do there, and you can apply that to all slides or just one slide. But we're going to focus right now on object animation. So again, I'm going to select my object, and I'm going to come into Object Animations. And so right here, when I click here, I don't want to, this is having it fade in when I click it, and I'm going to change it with this drop-down menu. So I want this box to fly out to the left, and I can either do it on click or after the previous. So maybe I want to have control. I don't want that object to move till I click it. I can go ahead and click that. I can control the speed of it as well. So I can go ahead and select my next image and go ahead and add an animation for that one as well. And same process. So tell it what kind of animation you want it to do. And then you can, maybe this one I want it to do after the previous one. And then it lets me actually preview and see what that looks like. So let's hop in there and check it out, if my computer will work. Sorry, we'll just go over here instead. So we'll go to Present. Cindy, are you here? Am I still okay on sound?
You're good with sound. Yeah, it just looks kind of like your computer, like maybe your screen has frozen up.
Yeah, let's try a refresh. Oh, it looks like I jumped the gun too soon. So I'm gonna let that spin and refresh for a second, and then we'll go back to that slide and check out the animation. My computer is getting a abundance of use, and so it seems to get really tired sometimes and act funny on me. So I inserted my animations. Hopefully those stuck, and we're going to go ahead and go to present mode and see what it looks like now. So there we go. And so it should be, I should be able, when I click, it should pop one of those boxes out. And actually both boxes should go at the same time because of the way I set it up. So Cindy, while that's loading, have any questions come in?
No questions. I think they're in awe because what you're showing is just pretty amazing. And I don't think other people really knew that these features were available.
They're so fun.
They are. They're really amazing.
Yep. And, you know, when I taught in the classroom, I felt like, you know, if I could make learning engaging and fun for kids, it was a win-win for me. And so this was one of the tools that, you know, I could add sound and add animations, and it just made it exciting. So since I'm having some trouble on my end, I'm going to go ahead and see if we can check this one out. So this is an example of a way that I used the animation feature instructionally in my class. And so this was Guess the Covered Word for first grade. And so I animated the shapes. So the kids are supposed to read I taught first grade. I would read the sentence to them. We'd use the beginning sound and try to figure out what the covered word is. When I click, the boxes disappear. So again, you could use it in, you know, whatever capacity works for you, but you can add animations to anything: images, text boxes, shapes. You do have to be in present mode for those to work once you have set them up though. So really neat.
And you're just getting lots of compliments saying, Brenda said that you are amazing. Beastie has said, doing a great job. So like I said, lots of compliments.
Thank you guys, you're making me blush. So it's easy to, you know, you want to learn more about something when it's fun and engaging. And so that's, you know, I'm glad that you guys find it fun and engaging too. So let's go on to another amazing feature. So videos. Did you know that you can actually embed your videos directly into your Google Slides and trim them up so kids don't have to go outside to YouTube? So we all know how it works. When kids go to YouTube, they get lost in the noise. There's video previews on the right. They click over there and they're not always focused on the learning. So we have the ability to grab videos and bring them in to our Google Slides. So you do this by coming to Insert and coming down to Video. And when I do that, I have a menu that pops up, and I've got two different ways to do it. So I can go and drop a URL. I can actually search YouTube here, and it would pull up, see if it'll pull up my Weather Watchers one. Super, super slow. So yep, I can grab videos with a search. I can just drop the URL in, or I can go to Google Drive and grab videos maybe that I screencasted. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this Weather Watchers one, and I'm going to show you what I can do with it. So this is going to embed this video directly onto my slide, so I don't need to send kids anywhere else to go watch it. So I would, you know, size it up so it fits right in on top of my computer screen. But you notice with when my video is selected, I have a format options window over here on the right that I can make some changes. So I can actually trim the video up right here by telling it what time that video should start and what time I want it to end. So I don't have to use the whole video. I can trim it right here in Slides. So that's a really cool feature. I can also go to autoplay when presenting. So when I go into present mode, that would make it so when they got to this slide, that video would automatically start rolling. So that's really, really a nice feature to have. You can also go to choose to mute audio, and then you've got your options down here where you can make changes to the size if you want to size it down, or you can make changes to the position or add that drop shadow in. And again, if I play the video, I've got my bracket. Being wonky.
Welcome back to the fort.
Okay, there we go. I'm going to give it a second to catch up. All right, there we go. So I can, like I said, I don't have to drive them to YouTube. I can pull that content right in here and offer it to kids. So pretty awesome. I think there was one more slide I wanted to talk about that. So we talked about you would select the video, and I showed you on the last slide how to do that. You can format the video, adjust the start and stop times. You can set it up to autoplay when you're presenting, and you can mute the sound if you want. Maybe if I just wanted a visual for them, I could add that. It's also a great way to insert timers into Google Slides. So YouTube has a lot of digital timers already set up. If you need a 5-minute timer, you just Google it, and then you can drop the video directly into your slide deck and set it to autoplay. So when the kids are working in it, it automatically the timer automatically starts. So great option. So we talked about grabbing things from YouTube. We also can use Screencastify. So I know we've done some trainings in the last few weeks about different screen recording programs. Screencastify is the one that I really love personally, because it's so easy to use and it runs right in my browser. So when you get the slide deck down here in the speaker notes, I've got some information for you. When you first get Screencastify, you are limited to 5-minute videos. But with the whole COVID crisis, they have opened it up for paid access for free. So there's a code down there and information for you to go and get that. So if you are not familiar with Screencastify, I'm going to show you how to get it. So if I come in my browser bar up here to the top left and click on apps, I'm going to navigate to the web store. And so this is where I'm going to get Screencastify. So I'm going to type in Screencastify. And here it is. And yours will say add to Chrome if you haven't installed it yet. And you'll go ahead and click add to Chrome. So Screencastify is an extension. So these things that live up here in the top of your browser bar are extensions. And what extensions do is they offer you additional productivity when you're using a web browser. So it basically is just allows you to record anything you're doing on the screen. To use it, when you first, it looks like this little pinkish orange arrow. The first time you launch it, it's going to ask you to sign into Google Drive, and there's a great reason for that, because it works with your Google Drive and creates a folder in your Google Drive called Screencastify and records everything into your, or saves all your recordings into your Google Drive under that folder of Screencastify. So if you haven't used it before, I do want to kind of show you a couple features. So I'm able to go ahead and record just my browser tab. If I don't want them to see all the other tabs I have open, I can click that. I can set it on desktop, or I can just go ahead and do the webcam. The really cool thing about this, and especially with what's happening right now, everybody's isolated in their homes. Screencastify provides you a great way to create a video and put yourself in it so your kids can actually see you. So first, I'm going to turn on embed webcam, and that's going to add me into the video. So I'm going to go down here to record. You can see it is hearing my voice. If I need to make changes to the microphone or the camera, I just click the little drop downs there. I'm going to click record so I can just show you really quickly how easy this is to do. So again, anything I'm presenting on the web, it's going to ask me, do you want to do just your screen or your application window? It's going to give me a countdown, 3, 2, 1. And hello, everyone. And here's my tools down here at the bottom. And then when I'm done teaching my lesson, you see I'm down here in the bottom right corner so I can see the kids. I'm going to click stop sharing, and that's going to go ahead and pull me to the Screencastify screen. So now I can preview my recording, and it's automatically putting this into my Google Drive. So a couple to do when I record something in Screencastify is I need to go ahead and name it so I can find it later. When I first started using it, I was making all these videos, and I didn't see that feature, and then I couldn't go back and find them because they all just, had like the generic untitled date thing. So once I make a video in Screencastify, like I said, it is automatically in my Google Drive. I can go ahead and click here to grab the link, and or I can go down here to more options, and I can change the sharing settings right here in Screencastify. I can also just go ahead and push it out to my Google Classroom if I want. So that's really neat. And then I also have the ability to download. If I needed to download it to my computer, maybe add it to something else. So really great features. And so back to our Google slide, how would we apply this in our slides? So again, I can insert my videos. So when I went to insert and video, and I go to Google Drive, it's going to look in my drive for all my videos that I have. So remember, mine are all stored under my Screencastify folder, but really that's where mainly where all the videos that I create come from, or that are in my drive come from. So now I can scroll through and grab the video that I want, and it will drop it right in there for me. So this has great potential. Some of the what you're seeing on this page right here, this video that I'm making, is I'm using a web-based app called, a website called Math Learning Center. And they've got all sorts of really great virtual manipulatives that I can open up in a tab and then teach with. So that's really, maybe I wanted to provide an instructional lesson with money and put it into my Google slide deck for kids. I can drop it right in with that video capability. So super cool. Any questions on videos before we get going? Okay, take that as a no. All right, so we looked at the Math Learning Center. Let's look at the next super cool feature. Did you know that you can integrate sound into your Google Slides? Yes, you can. So some reasons I might want to have sound, again, it's really fun. It makes it more engaging and interactive. There's two places that I'm going to recommend that you get sound from. And so let me show you a little bit about what that looks like, and then I'll show you where to get them. So here is this is a word wall review that I did with, this is a words work lesson. And I actually was able to
say the word tape. Now, what word would we have if we said tape without the t?
Okay, so I actually am able to add my own voice to a Google slide. And to do that, I'm going to use a website called Voice Recorder. So it's linked here on this slide for you. And on Voice Recorder, all I have to do is click the microphone, and it's recording me. When I'm done, I'm going to click stop. It's going to process. I can save it. It's going to download it to my computer, and this is the only tricky step, but I can go ahead and upload it to my drive, or I can go ahead and move it on my computer. If I'm using Google Drive file stream, I can move it to my Google Drive folder. I'm going to talk with you a little bit about, and so I'll show you what that looks like to insert the video in just a second. If I just want to do sound, so this is the words lesson. We're reviewing our word wall words, and I wanted to make it jazzy and exciting for kids. So I'm actually able to insert music. So if you are a first grade teacher, you have probably heard that song many times because it's included in all the word wall introduction shows. So again, I can either insert music or my voice. So we use Voice Recorder to record our voice onto a slide. I could go ahead and do, YouTube has a free audio library that I can access these sound clips on. So I can go ahead and it lands me on the free. I can go ahead and pick songs. You can preview them here. You can change the mood, the genre, whatever you want. I also have sound effects here. So this one has been great for science as I'm building science lessons, because I'm able to find sounds of, you know, waterfalls and rain and wind and things like that. So again, when I find one I want, I'm going to go ahead and do the, and again, I'm going to download it and then save it to my Google Drive. So if I go to my Drive, I have set up a folder for myself in my Google Drive called audio files. And so this is where I'm going to save all those audio files to. And I set the permissions for this folder to anyone on the internet can view, I believe. So here's my audio files folder. And once I click it, I just want to show you the sharing permissions, because I saw in the last webinar that I was in, someone was saying they were sharing their presentation with the students, but the students could not hear the sound. So just like in your anything in Google Drive, it has sharing permissions. So when I'm putting these audio files into my Google Drive, I need to make sure that they're viewable by anyone, that doesn't require them to sign in. So I'm going to set the permissions for this whole folder to anyone on the internet can find and view. So that's the highest level. So I want it to flow smoothly. I want it to function on the Google slide without them having to go anywhere. So hopping back to my slide deck, to insert sound, I go to Insert, Audio, and it's going to open up my drive, and it's just going to show me the sound files that I have in there now. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this one, and it's going to drop it into the slide deck for me. And there it is. And again, you're going to see over here on the left, I've got some options available to me. So maybe you're going to hear the sounds automatically in the present mode if you've set this up. So I can say, just play the sound when I click it, or I can say, go ahead and play that sound automatically. You can toggle around with the volume. I usually will click on hide icon when presenting so they don't see it when I'm in present mode, and loop audio if you want that sound to keep going. I also have the option down here to stop on slide change. So if I don't want that music playing on the next slide, I want to go ahead and click that box so it doesn't go on. So I can preview the sound. And if I don't like it, same as anything else, I can just hit the delete button to get rid of it. So really, really cool. Just a great way to add kind of some jazz to your slide deck. So let's see if it'll let me go into present mode with this slide. Cross my fingers that my computer's going to work. There we go. So when I create these lessons and I share them with students on my very first slide deck, I can either share I can change the link to where I push it out to them in present mode, or on the first page of the slide, I would do a little arrow pointing up to the present button up here on the right and put a little text box that says, click, the present mode to run this in present, and that way they can hear all the sounds. They can still click the sounds and listen to them, but it's just a lot more fun when you're running it in present mode. So again, sound files have to be uploaded to your drive. You want to create a folder, change the sharing permissions, and then do the insert audio like we mentioned. Let's talk for a minute about insert. Go ahead. Do you have a question?
A couple questions.
Okay.
Okay, a couple questions. So if they wanted to have music playing throughout that presentation, would they? How would they be able to do that, or
yeah,
play in the background?
Yep. So you can toggle the sound down, and then you can say loop audio and turn this off, so it continues to play through the entire presentation.
Okay. And one other question that came up that I know that you'll love this is they wanted to know if a Google slide deck can be linked in Seesaw.
Absolutely. So that is one of my most favorite ways to use Google Slides is, like I mentioned a little earlier, when you push templates out to students that you set up in Google Slides, they can publish it to Seesaw by going to either responding to an activity and uploading from Drive, or they can just go to the journal and click the green plus and it pulls in. The way it publishes into Seesaw is just absolutely gorgeous. So they do need to check their sharing permissions before they go in, because we don't, if they're publishing to Seesaw, they are publishing it to a wide forum. So they need to change their sharing settings, but absolutely, they go into Seesaw beautifully.
Okay, and one more question. Can you go over how to set the present mode again?
So, okay, two ways. I can just click present if I'm actually running the show, if I was physically in a room with people and I wanted to present. I can actually do it another way. I can get that publish link, so I can go File, Publish to the Web, and get this link and share that link with students instead of the actual sharing link. So that's going to run it in publish mode. Or I can go to my URL, and I'm going to take everything off the URL up to the word edit, and including the word edit. So I'm going to take this all off and change that to present. And now this link should go ahead and put students directly into present mode with the slide deck. There it goes. So another awesome way, that awesome thing that Slides does is that there's so many different ways that you can push the content out to kids. So if you don't want them to, I wouldn't use that mode if they were going to be manipulating things. So if you want them to be dragging things, like labels or images from the gray space onto the slide, I wouldn't go into present mode, because you don't see the gray space in present mode. But it depends on what you're doing with the tool. Yeah. Anything else? We got a couple more things to cover.
Okay, I think that's it. Keep it going.
All right, cool. All right, so you also can insert links into anything. So anything you put into slides, images, text boxes, shapes, I can drop a link into. So I've got a link down here that we're gonna showcase here. And I'm gonna copy that link. And to do that, all I'm gonna do is click whatever I want to drop the link into. And I'm gonna go ahead and click right here to this little link shortcut. I can go to insert link, but if I click right here, it opens up this little box for me, and I can go ahead and drop my link in there. And so now when kids click this link, this box pops up and it takes them to where I want to go. So this is a really cool website to create with as well. It's called Jigsaw Planet. And you upload an image to it, and then it creates a puzzle for kids, so they can put puzzle together. And so basically this puzzle says, just as we expect students to continue to learn and grow, we must do the same in our practice, which you guys are really doing a lot of right now. So again, I can insert the link into anything in here. I do want to also show you, if I click the text box and I go to my insert link, you notice that I also have the ability to link to other slides in the presentation. So this would be really good to direct kids to different things. So I can actually say, when they click this link, go to this slide. So a really cool way to use that is, this is a choose your own adventure story. So the boxes are gonna link you to make some choices. So it's just this was again created in Google Slides. So these boxes right here will drive you to a specific slide in the slide deck. So they read the story, then they make a choice. It takes them there. Try another way. I click on north, it takes me somewhere else. So it's a really cool way that you can add, interactivity to writing as well. So that's kind of another neat feature. So Jigsaw Planet is the site that I made the puzzle on. So if you want to take a look at that, the link is down here when you get the slide deck at the end. A couple other things I'm not going to actually demonstrate, but I do want to just let you know is available. When I come to insert, I've got a lot of other options. So I can insert tables, I can insert charts, and it gives me bar, column, line, pie. When I insert those charts, I can actually do it from I can create a chart from a sheet that I have. So that's kind of a neat feature. You can insert diagrams, which is what the little pyramid thing is, and I can insert word art and lines. And so like this is word art. You can when I put my word art in, I just type it in a box like that, and I change the color of it with my paint bucket. So word art works a little bit differently than fonts, but it's, you can change the font style and the color, but it's just a little bit of a different feature. So let's talk for a quick minute about sharing slide decks and then how to get that engagement in. So we all know that we can share a slide deck by coming here and doing, when I go to advanced, I can change,
Sorry, I'm in the middle of PD.
Hi,
Noah! Oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
Can we mute her? Thank you. So I can share a slide deck like that, just sharing the link with students. I can also go to publish to the web. And so we looked at that a little earlier, where I go to file, publish to the web, and that generates a URL that I can now push out. And that is going to publish the slide deck in present mode. So again, be cognizant of how you're using it. Another cool way to push things out is to do forced copy. So forced copy is going to be push a copy to people that looks like this. So they actually would have to click on make a copy, and that would make a copy of the slide deck in their Google Drive. I really like to use, I really don't like to use that one because I don't know what I'm copying before I copy it. So the one I really like to use is force template preview. And when I force template preview, it takes me to a screen where I actually can preview whatever's being sent to me before I decide to grab it. So if I send the link like this, the user would be able to check it out, and then if they want to keep it, they can go ahead and click use template and it would save it to their drive. So the way that we do these is we're going to change the back end of the URL. So again, we're going to go from edit back. You want to keep that last / before edit. And I'm going to do template preview. And that's going to be how I get that, how I would share that link. So I would go ahead and just copy that with the template preview in it. And then if I hop to another tab and paste that in, it's going to take whoever I'm sharing that with to that screen, and they can choose to use it. My Google Drive filled up a lot initially because people would share files with me with a forced copy, and I would get it, I would open the file, and then it's saved in my drive, and I'm like, I don't even want this. And so it just is, I like to use the forced template better. So the next thing I want to share with you is adding interactivity. Pear Deck is an add-on that works with Google Slides. So if you have not used Pear Deck before, we have a lot of training available in the next few weeks that you can find on our virtual webinar page. So it works. It adds interactivity on top of something you created in slides. So you would go to add-ons in your open slides, click add-ons, go to get add-ons, and then search for Pear Deck. I've already got mine installed. And so what this looks like is I would go ahead, I'm going to go ahead to my totem pole one and add some interactivity. So I've got a lesson in slides. I want to go ahead and add some interactivity. I'm going to go ahead and open up Pear Deck. So if you have it here, you can go there. If you have it, if you don't have it there, you can go to Pear Deck and click open there. So I can actually open the template library and I can grab things that I want to add to my lesson. So maybe I want to get kids add a slide to have them talk about what are they wondering about the topic today. So I can grab templates that are already made. Templates that I pull in, I can modify what's on the slide. Do you know what a totem pole is? So they're going to actually respond. So the only thing that I cannot edit is this part down here. That's what makes the slide interactive when I run it. So again, I can add anything from the templates. So you notice we've got template libraries for the beginning of the lesson, during lesson, end of lesson. There's critical thinking templates, social emotional templates. So those templates means individual slides that I'm going to add in. I can also add some interactivity to my slides by just coming to the very bottom. Oh, I got to go back. Coming to the very bottom and adding either text choice to the slide. So if I use those bottom features, it's going to be added on top of my slide. So when I'm ready to share this lesson, so I've taken, you know, my awesome slide deck and I've I've added some interactivity. I'm going to launch the lesson by going to start. I can go to student paste activity and it's going to allow me to actually have an option to push it right out to Google Classroom to deliver it to kids. So that's really a nice feature. To go look at the feedback from your participants, you're going to go to peardeck.com. And when you get to peardeck.com, you can go to your sessions up at the very top. And it's going to list each session that you have run in Pear Deck. And from here, you can click the 3 dots and end the session. This one right next to it, next to the 3 dots, that's how I'm going to be able to look at student data from the session. So again, we've got lots of trainings coming up on Pear Deck. If you're not familiar with it, jump in and play with it and maybe attend a training. Last couple things I want to share with you, and then we'll open up for questions and let you guys go, is I'm going to share this resource page with you. So this is not an all-inclusive list, but there are some great free resources that you can use here to you know, insert into your slide or just add awesome content to what you're doing. So again, we put the Google form in the chat box. You do need to fill it out to get attendance credit for today. And the last submission page, you're going to see the slide deck link there. So you can go ahead and click it and then save a copy to your drive. So give you guys a lot of information. If you fill out the attendance form and you're good, you're welcome to go ahead and end the call. I know I went 5 minutes over, but I'm going to hang out for a little bit. So if you have questions, now would be a great time to